Hello, everybody. Sorry, I needed a drink.
Slurp, slurp.
Yes. Hey, hi. Yo, people saying
Oh, that
hi.
one wasn't for me.
Hi, it's fine. Just take it anyway.
Yeah.
This
No,
one's for everyone.
If I steal a hello from CB, I will get kicked out of this stream.
She may murder you. That's right.
So yeah, no, that one was for CB. I don't claim it.
Wait, I just saw something that
you used your eyes.
Yes. Well, I saw a comment that I'm gonna have to deal with in a little bit, but in DMs, not in stream.
I'm like, I don't see nothing.
No, I was so distracted by talking about shoving food in our mouths and what my husband was trying to get my attention with. I forgot to say that we're live on all the places. Fox, it's not my fault. It's Chris's. You want to talk about his truck?
Yeah, it's Chris's fault. Always. Sure.
Yes.
CB says she waved back at us when we appeared.
Yeah. We can't see it, but
we're on the screen.
Fox was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna yell at him." I was doing so well for like the past month. I'd been doing it before we went live, but it is what it is.
Man. How the mighty fall.
So shady. So shady. I forget that because of my Twitter banner, I think it is, when I go to my profile to do things, it's green. And I'm like, why is my Twitter green? It's a very nice shade of green, but why is everything green?
I don't know.
What? French fries are made of potatoes. Yeah, my
and they're
child.
made of love.
Let me tell you, my child just went, "What are French fries made of?" And I said, "Potatoes." She's like, "Yeah, you take the potato and you slice it." And then I'm like, I feel like you knew.
That was a segue to show you that she knew how to make French fries.
That was it.
She was seeing if you knew what they were made of.
Right? Like, I feel like I was tested.
Your knowledge is being tested.
Yes. Ooh, hello from Nova Scotia. I just need... Oh, yes. Hello. Hey. Why, thank you. I need to take pictures for the next Sailor Moon thumbnail, so it's going to be my hair. Let the entertainment begin! That's what you think. I'm going to eat some fries. No, I'm kidding. That's what you think. I'm actually going to eat my fries.
No, the fry stuff reminds me of... this is like legend in my family. Mm-hmm. One day we were having ribs for dinner, and like we had people over, so like adults in one room, children in the other. Apparently, allegedly, I walk in with like a rib bone and just barbecue sauce all over my face, and I go, "What mammal am I eating?"
What mammal am I eating?
Because I'm guessing my siblings were like, "Oh, you're eating something weird," and I was like, "No." And so I had to go and check.
To be fair, but yeah, that was Sorry, I went to get the pop-out chat, and so I thought you were still
No.
talking, but it was
No.
just the other YouTube video. Yeah, I've been there, like both as the one being like, "Yeah, do you want to know what you're really eating?" and the
Right.
and the one who's been told you're eating this, and I'm like, "Am I though?" Only it kind of backfires with me because they'd be like, "Oh, well, you're eating snake," and I'm like, "Well, snake's tasty."
Yeah.
So,
Tastes great.
there was one time somebody was like, "Oh, well, you're eating cat," and I was like, "Is it my cat?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Well, then I don't care." And that was the day my dad knew. I don't know what he knew, but that was the day he knew. I think I was like 9 when that happened, but would answer the same way to this day. So how's everybody's week? Oh, y'all should do your intros because it's 5 minutes in. Yeah.
Aha.
I have a cat.
Are you offering it for dinner?
You can eat that one.
Are you offering it?
I only made that joke because of the way Jessica did it.
That cat you can eat. The other
Okay.
one, no. But that one,
No.
that one,
Aw.
free to a good dinner.
I will accept your sacrifice. All right, now introduce yourselves. Jessica, you get to go first.
I get to go first. Yay, me. Hello, everyone. I am Jessica. My channel is Jessica Williamson. I post reading, writing, and planner-based content a couple times a week, and I do live streams every other Friday. And that's me.
And I'm Matt Hollon. I'm a writer working on my debut fantasy novel. I'm also working on a pirate short story called The White Harvester. Going to be getting to the beta process there soon. I've got a Twitter. I've got an Instagram I'm trying to post on more often. You can find them down below and ask me.
And I am Writing Mom Samantha Nasset. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer parent things. I also host live streams like this every Monday where sometimes we do write-ins, sometimes we do Let's Talks. Next month, I just have a bunch of write-ins planned because everyone I wanted to do Let's Talks with is busy. Except for the Sailor Moon one, which will be on the 24th.
Sure.
You can also stay up to date on all things Sam by signing up to my newsletter at my website, which is samanthaalnasset.com. I also have a Ko-fi, which is linked down below.
CB tells people to give Sam money.
It's CB's job now. And I should hopefully be posting videos on Wednesday again. I have enough scripts backlogged, and I've been feeling pretty good, so I'm hoping to record this week.
Woohoo!
Cross fingers. Excuse me. All right, so what is everybody working on? Today, I'm probably going to be working on final question mark revisions for Not For Her before it gets sent to an editor. So I'm excited about that.
I will be doing some drafting. We're coming to the end of this draft, so writing some good stuff.
I am working on a first draft about 3/4 of the way through.
What's your first draft of?
It is I don't know. It's a fantasy story, and it's about a princess's handmaiden who's also an assassin.
We love assassins.
I love princess assassins specifically.
It's a princess's handmaiden that's an assassin.
I will still love her. Close enough. It's all good. I don't say that because, like, essentially my whip is about a princess handmaiden assassin woman. It's literally, she's both. But yes. She's princess of one kingdom and she acts as a bodyguard handmaid for another kingdom. It's less confusing in the story, I promise.
I have one of those. One of the characters. Not the assassin character, but one of the other characters.
a short story I need to finish drafting before the month's out. It should be done tonight or tomorrow. Yes.
Woo!
I also should work on that villain short for to put in the compilation thing. Apply. That's what I was gonna. I can't talk today. I don't have brain fog. I just can't talk. I'm being very productive, and by that I mean sitting in bed reading. You're healing from an injury. It's good enough. First draft of a new dark fantasy myth retelling. Ooh. Hello. I'm working on getting to the 6,000 word mark today.
Nice.
We hope to help you get there. I'm working on my prequel story. It's the 4th book in my series so far, but to make it confusing, I'm also working on the 4th book too. Yes. Just need to add a little confusion in your life, right? Trying to rework my short story to up the stakes.
Up them stakes.
Make it tense. I completed all my CP goals today, so I'm here to listen and eat cheese. I approve. I approve of this this goal.
I want to know if CB is reading for fun or reading for school. It's important.
She's reading comics. I promise you, she's reading web comics.
Computer, shut up. No one asked you for your opinion.
The computer was trying to defend CB. Because she's also secretly hacked the computers.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's how she always takes people out of the streams. She just hacks their computers.
Yes. Well, I am a very responsible student, but Sam is right.
Well, that's fine.
Yes.
I just wanted to know.
She just wanted to know for right this moment.
I just wanted to know if you were having fun and reading fun things or if you were working on school stuff. Gosh, I feel like a mom now, Mike.
CB, did you get Monto working? I need to know. My wake word for my echo is computer too.
I just had the realization that I am actually like old enough to be CB's mom, and now I want to go home and die. So, there's that.
I did the math, and she's closer to Michael's age than she is my age, so I don't know if that makes you feel better. And like, compared to my little sister, like if Michael was one end of the age timeline and Tabby was the other one, CB would be the middle point. So I am having fun and I appreciate your momming. I did not get it working, but my dad is helping me out. Okay, cool. How old do you think she would need to be, CB? Because she only... There's two different standpoints to look at this from. If you're going with legally, she'd need to be 36.
It's not true, because the age of consent is 16 in most states.
Well, I was thinking that my wording was really bad because you can legally be a mom at any age, but I was hoping everybody understood what I meant, that like as a legal adult, you would have to be 36. But like my mom was 15 when I was born, so
okay, so based off of like her parents' age,
okay, well, to be fair, yeah.
Fair enough. I will accept.
Just as like, I'll take it.
I worked with a lady several years ago who was my age and had a grandchild that was like 2. And
hold on, I have to do some math. I mean, you keep talking. I'll tell you when my math is done.
Pulls out chalkboard.
I'm like, I'm almost 34, so like, it was scary.
Yes. I'm trying to remember how old my grandmother was when I was born.
Probably could have been. Whew.
I have a Mylanote board with the birthdays of everybody in my family because, like, we gave up on trying to remember.
I just hope Facebook does it for me. And if Facebook doesn't, sorry, I missed your birthday.
Okay, so my middle sister doesn't have a Facebook. She only has a gaming Facebook that I created for her when she was 12 or 13, and it's just its name. I'm not gonna say its name because then she'll get mad at me. But it's a guy's name, and it's based off of this character that she created for a role play or something. And so it has his birthday, and our uncle will every year he'll message her upset when he gets the Facebook. He's like, "This is not your birthday." And she's like, "You're right, and that's not my Facebook."
That's funny.
And when we were conveying this to our baby sister earlier this year, she went in. So my middle sister's birthday is April 11th. My baby sister's birthday is April 12th. So our baby sister went and changed her birthday to the 11th to see if anybody would notice, since it's only a day off. I forgot to ask how that went. No, that's how old my mother is. My grandmother is now. In 1990, how old would she? My grandma's only 65, so.
So in 90.
So my grandmother was 34 when I was born.
So yeah, same deal.
Yep.
I want to die inside.
She would have. There could have been a grandchild before me, but so she could have been an even younger grandma, but she wasn't. Things happened. So
I mean, whatever other people's lives, that's fine. But I'm thinking for me, right now in my life, if I was a grandmother, oh my gosh.
I mean, yes, but no. Biologically, I could have been, but no. Google Calendars for the win. Nobody in my family uses Google Calendars. Nobody. They barely use Google. I mean, the older generation. Well, half of the younger one, too. Birthdays are in my calendar. Other than that, I never remember. No, everybody will, at the beginning of the year, you'll get the phone call that's list everybody's birthday that you know. And then that's my mother filling out her calendar for the year. So I'm I've got it all recorded. And they're organized by month. We have no January birthdays, apparently. Just none. No one in my family was born in January. But then, you look at August, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, August is a busy birth month.
That's our September. I have 10 nieces and nephews' birthdays in September.
It's because everyone's conceiving during the holidays.
Happy New Year.
My mom actually bought one of my cousins a heated blanket for Christmas one year and told her to stop having kids. Use this to keep warm instead.
That's great.
Because that's the family I have. We're awesome.
Unless it's immediate family, Facebook has to remind me. See, that's the problem. Most of my immediate family does not have nor uses Facebook. Somebody tagged my aunt. It was an old family friend, and they found some photos, and they tagged my aunt and me, and they were like, "Hey, look, it's you and your mom." And I'm like, "Well, first of all, you tagged my aunt, but also that's not my mother in that picture. So, you're wrong on both."
Hey, so here's an itemized list of all the ways you're wrong. There you go.
I'm not, and I had to look at it. I'm okay, that one is me. So you got one.
33% of that correct.
You failed.
And then they were like, "Oh, well, can you give me your mom's Facebook?" And I was like, "She don't have one. She refuses. If she has to tell anybody anything, she logs onto my grandmother's Facebook, and then she'll talk to them through my grandmother's Facebook, and that's it." She's like, "They can call me." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Mom." So
I'm with her. Just call me.
Yeah, I mean, I do not use Facebook for anything but birthday tracking.
Okay.
Should
My
change the name to birthday tracker.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my birthday app. That's it.
For friends, I rely on Snapchat.
That's a handy one because a lot of people my age don't have Facebooks or don't have accurate Facebooks, so I have to use Snapchat for a lot of them.
Is it not accurate Facebooks because they made the Facebooks before they could have the Facebook?
Yes, they made their Facebooks before they were supposed to be allowed to have their Facebooks, so they changed the birthday. What I don't get is all the people that chose a different day of the year.
Right?
It's just change the year. Why are you lying about what day it is?
That's gonna make it
Facebook
so much
isn't
harder
tracking
to remember.
Right. So I'll get notification from people they're like, oh, it's his birthday. I'm like, it isn't. I know it's not. He just lied about his Facebook.
I mildly forgive the people who were just like their birthday was January 1st of the year. That would make them, just there. I'm like, you I get.
Yeah, that's fair.
The rest of you, why? All right. So, oh, hold on. It's doing a thing where it's in the corner. Got to get it out the corner. There we go. All right. And
we're in the corner.
Nah, nobody puts baby in a corner. Or Sam. All right. So we're gonna start our first sprint in 3, 2, 1, go. we're back. How did everybody do? I will go first. I did about a page and a half. I went through looking at the critique notes, changing some things, adding some things. Also called my grandma, who didn't answer. Like I got it as if it cut off. So like she answered and hung up on me, and I was like, "That old bitch! How dare you!" And then she answered, and so we're good.
I wrote a cool 237, which I can live with.
I'm gonna get rid of the banner.
Jess, you're still muted.
Yup.
I hit the button once already. Did I hit the button twice?
Gotta hit it.
It's a mystery.
I did 407.
Nice.
We're gonna say hi to new people. Hello. Well, not new people, but they just came. Hey yo, welcome. Yes, enjoy your coffee. I'm struggling with how to write two-headed person talking without getting the reader confused. Just make each head have a distinct talking style. Sorry, I know you weren't asking for advice. Accents are dangerous to write in dialogue.
I know.
556, oh yeah, 266, woohoo! 540, yes. Like, oh my god. So let me tell you, I have a person I have known, I had known for years. I guess we still kind of know each other. We know of each other's existence. Either way. So she writes a book and she's like, yes, it's an urban fantasy that takes place in Tennessee. One day she may see this video and she'll be like, that bitch should taught me. I don't care. So like I downloaded the demo because on the Facebook she was asking if anybody could edit it for her, and I was like, well, you should pay an editor to edit it. And somebody was like, well, I'm a teacher and I have an English degree, and I'm like, and not an editor. Let me tell you, I was not popular in that comment. But, so I read it, and she's like, yeah, like I hate how people write Tennessee and everything, and I'm like, I bet you do, bitch, who moved to Florida and lived in Florida most of your life and was only here for 3 years. But let's see what you wrote. I hated it so much. There was just so much to hate. First of all, you got a werewolf running through a tobacco field, and I'm like, I don't know how this would work on their nose. But then this Tennessee character who, what did they say? I'm trying to remember. Like, okay, what they said didn't particularly matter. All that matters is that they said like ain't or aren't. They used a southern slang, but like it's grammatically fine. It fits in the sentence. It's like it's not even considered non-grammatical outside of the South.
Right.
Like one of those, because there's some that people outside the South would be like, well, that's not real grammar, and I'm like, well, your face isn't real grammar. But yeah, it wasn't even one of those. And then the narrative was like he talked with his deep southern drawl, and which with his deep southern drawl, which you could point from the poor grammar, but like the way the narrative was written had poor grammar. So I'm like, he spoke with better grammar than you wrote with. How the fuck dare? A southern drawl has nothing to do with grammar.
Right, like grammar isn't an like that. No.
Like, am I gonna pretend everyone in the South has perfect grammar? No. Does that have anything to do with your accent? Also no.
Right.
There was so much more that I was angry about, and all I did was read the free sample because I was like, you get no money from me. Fuck you. Also, she was like, I started writing this book in July and I'm gonna like have it edited and published in August. And I was like, are you now? Because that doesn't sound like a good idea to me. But what
No.
do I know? You just willy-nilly decided to become an author because you had a free month. I've been trying to become an author since I was 12, but I don't know anything. So
No, that reminds me of a book I read that was set in Southwest Ohio, but written by someone that did not live in Southwest Ohio. And they were just like, oh, these lush forests and these sweeping hills. I'm like, where? Where do you see these? It is fields, ma'am. Like
Southeast Ohio, maybe. Southwest Ohio? No.
Look, it's like when people are like, I'm just gonna put my story in this random like city in this state, and I'm like, just make up a city. Because I promised you, if you just make up a city, you could be like, yeah, the sweeping fields in random Ohio, and like, y'all are like, maybe they're on this side. Just don't specify, because the moment you get specific is the moment the natives go, oh, really? And like people are like, no one will care, and I'm like, the natives will care, and and my story is set place where they live. Nah. Fuck that. It's why when I write contemporary, it's always in America, always somewhere I've been. And even then, I researched my city before even considering putting something in my city. I'm like, no.
I mean, Google Maps is really helpful with that, like especially if it's a bigger city, because you can like put yourself there and like do the street view and look around and like see what's there, and it's helpful.
Yes, and also like I like to look at places like what's the weather like in this place and stuff. I check who's saying these things, because there will be a lot of people who will like talk about like the swamp-like heat in Georgia, and I'm like, you've never been to a swamp, have you? Georgia does not have swamp-like heat. What the fuck? I know it's really close to Florida, but like the top of Florida does not have swamp-like heat.
Like
so.
Also, like people don't know how big states are, and it's like, hey, it's not going to be the same everywhere.
When they talk about certain states and they're like, oh, they have like the sweetest tea in the South. And I'm like, I've been there, and no, they don't. Okay. They didn't add sugar. When I asked for sweet tea, they were like, I could pour it in your cold tea. And I was like, excuse you? Where I'm not in the South right now.
Yeah.
You should know better. So I won't name the states because there's like 3 states that are like, yeah, we're Southern. And I'm like, but is you?
But are you?
But is you? I'm like, I try so hard not to be that gatekeeper bitch, but I will judge a southern state by their sweet tea. That's all it's got to do. It's just got to pass the sweet tea test. If you don't pass the sweet tea test, are you even southern state?
That's harsh.
All of my southern friends that don't like sweet tea know how to make good sweet tea. You have to, or you'll be murdered.
I would not consider Ohio part of the South, but my family is all from the South, and yeah, sweet tea is it. That's the test.
Kentucky's like the cutoff. Anything north of Kentucky is the Midwest or the Northeast.
I don't count Ohio as part of the South, but I think part of Southern Ohio has forgotten that.
I agree. People around here think they're in the South, and I'm like, y'all, it's snowing in April. I don't know where you think you are.
To be fair, it snows in April in the South. It just only lasts 12 hours.
We had 5 inches of snow last week. 5 inches of snow last week.
I'm sorry, if you get more than 2 inches, you're not.
You're exactly like, y'all, we're not the South.
Apparently, I just recently learned because I was talking to. I'm right next to the Kentucky state line. So like I know quite a few Kentuckians, and I just recently discovered there's sections of Kentucky that say that they're not part of the South, and I'm like, excuse you.
I mean,
who do you think you are?
I mean, you are though. Is the thing.
You're our border.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're not part of the South anymore?
Maybe Western Kentucky, maybe. Like
I don't know. I just think it's funny. I'm not going to tell them if they are or if they're not, because Kentucky has good sweet tea. So as far as I'm concerned,
they're part of the South.
But Kentucky. I also recently learned that depending on who you talk to in Texas, they are either part of the South or part of the Southwest. And I'm like, everybody's trying to just be like, nah, no, we're not the South anymore.
Texas is just Texas. They're not part of the
Right.
South.
Right, and to be
They're
fair,
their
Texas
own
is like
thing.
giant, so I feel like different parts of Texas would like fit into different places, maybe.
That could be the reason for all I know is Tennessee is the South. We
Yeah.
claim no other affiliation. Sometimes we don't necessarily want to claim that, but also every article you've ever read about a celebrity coming to Tennessee spoke of our hospitality, so we got that going
There you
for
go.
us. We'll help you if your car breaks down on the side of the road.
I want someone to explain to me why Chillicothe or why Ohio is in the Midwest, because like we're not even in the middle, let alone west of the middle. Like we're in the east, y'all. Like
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Michigan's also the Midwest, and it's like
Right.
Yeah, I don't see why Michigan is considered Midwest because it's just north. Like it's at the top.
I used to just call it the North. I was just like the Northerners. Like you guys would be Northerners to me. But then somebody was like, "No, that's the Midwest," and I'm like, "But the Midwest
The
is
middle's
the other
here,
way."
west is over here. We're over here. I don't understand.
See, Ohio's a
And
weird
we
one for me because
we
like I
don't have
feel
a Mid-East.
that's true. Because like I feel like Ohio's pretty Midwest, but I'm also in southwestern Ohio, so I'm basically Indiana, and Indiana's like hella Midwest. So like,
We need to respond to chat a little bit.
There's not much going on over there.
I know, but there's 364 words. Finished dinner and did things. Sam, I think you and I know the same person. Dear goodness, aren't they a joy to deal? I don't know who you're talking about, but yes. People aren't that smart, apparently. My dad also does the sweet tea because let me tell
sign
you,
of South.
people from the deep south, I am not technically from the deep south. I'm just southern, but people from like the deep south and the surrounding area, it's everybody will do the sweet tea taste. To be frank, if somebody's like they don't care about the sweet tea or they don't know the sweet tea test, I'm like, where are you from?
No, I just want my mom's sweet tea.
Sweet tea's so good.
It's
My
so
grandma
good.
My grandma hates sweet tea, but also she's from Michigan, so
That'll do it.
there are people in Pennsylvania that are very, very good.
Y'all are just the East. You're just over there. You're that way.
I want to know, what do people in Pennsylvania think they are?
They
I would
think
think
they're
that
from
the East, right?
There is a
Okay.
town in Pennsylvania that is like this is like the most racist town in America, and it's in Pennsylvania, and like it is there's an actual like video of someone like with a sign. I can't remember what it was, but like honk if you're a racist or something. I don't even remember. It was like the weirdest thing I've ever. I'm like, where are you people from? Like they look like they had crawled out of like the backwoods of 1902. I don't even understand.
So so Fox, he was just like, you Americans, all of you are from the South. And I'm like, sir, no, they're okay. I've actually I got into a very deep discussion with somebody about this one day because they were like, geographically, this is the South. And I'm like, yes, geographically, that is the South. But even Wikipedia will say there's a difference between the geographical South and the cultural South of America. And I was right about the cultural South. And I was like, that's all I care about. I don't care about geography. Geography's not making my tea.
Get the maps out of here.
That's
Talking
what
about
the
people.
pilot who flies the airplane is for.
Yeah.
So sweet. So I don't necessarily care about the proportions of the sweet tea because that varies greatly, from person to person, from region to region. Georgia peach tea is hella good, but not like super sweet. The big thing is that when you make sweet tea, you have to do it when the tea is hot because then the sugar dissolves into the tea. If you do it when the tea is cold, you just got a layer of sugar on the bottom of your cup. And
there are people that make it when it's cold.
Yes, that's how you know you're not in the South. That's what I was talking about. Like I went to, because been to quite a few states surrounding my region for my convention job. And I went to this one, and like my coworker who was from there was sitting there talking about how Southern they are, how much they love being in the South and this and that. And I'm like, I mean, I guess I don't actually know anything about your state. This is the first time I've been here, which should have been my first clue, because I know everything about, well, not everything, but I know a lot about most of the Southern states because like they make us. But then they were like, I sat at a restaurant and I was like, can I get some sweet tea? And they're like, oh, we don't serve sweet tea. Should have been red flag number 2. And they're like, but we can put sugar in your, or we can bring you sugar to put in your tea. And I'm like, in my cold tea? And they're like, yeah, in your cold tea. And I'm like,
not a chance.
No.
Hella side-eyeing my coworker over there talking about the South and how they're from the South. And then like my coworker that was from the neighboring state, they were like, oh yeah, this place isn't Southern.
Yeah, no, you bring me sugar to put in cold tea, I'll see you in hell. Like, let's go. Get out of here. Like, look, that doesn't work.
You're absolutely right.
It's just nasty.
I didn't realize that was a thing. People do that?
Yes. I'd rather drink unsweet, because I like both sweet and unsweet tea.
Yeah,
unsweet
tea is not bad.
Unsweet tea is fine. I prefer sweet tea. And so my judgment comes in the preparation of the sweet tea.
I mean, fair.
I lived my life in the North, and when McDonald's came up, hold on, I'm conceptualizing a McDonald's not existing within my lifetime in a region in America. Came up with their own sweet tea. I thought that can't be done right. I don't know. I've never been to a McDonald's in any state with bad sweet tea. Like, McDonald's is this weird exception. Like, no matter what state I go to, if I go to McDonald's for a sweet tea, that's my haven.
Yeah, I mean, that's McDonald's, I do like their sweet tea, not gonna lie. It's a little on the sweet side for me personally, but like, it's not bad sweet tea.
Inject the diabetes into my veins. Yeah, I grew up in Tennessee. Can you tell?
Yeah. It's like a 50-50 ratio of tea to sugar.
50-50, sir. No. 80-20. I'd like some tea with my sugar.
It's just cold simple syrup, if we're being honest.
I'm just joking. It's more. I'll do. Oh, excuse me. I do prefer it more 50-50 or 60-40. My aunt, however, her Kool-Aid, her sweet tea, back before she had her diet issues, which is not diabetes, mind you. That's not the diet issue she has. She is like 90% sugar and 10% whatever else, like Kool-Aid or tea.
I've had Kool-Aid in forever.
Literally just gave us sugar.
Kool-Aid is so good. Like,
the thing with Kool-Aid is it's flavored sugar. So she put all this sugar and then she added
sugar. So like, Kool-Aid out of those little shitty plastic cups is just.
I'm sorry, Emily. You just happened to come to the one stream that required basic knowledge.
U.S. geography.
Normally we talk about like anime and comics and
writing sometimes.
Writing.
Astrology.
They are the Northeast, but they're East Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's a big state, so like
a lot of the long or tall states will divide themselves that way. Like Tennessee has 3 sections. East. I'm like, what the fuck is this side? East, Middle, and West Tennessee, and like it's literally our news and everything is divided into that, because they'll be like, there's like a tornado brewing in Tennessee. Like, you will never hear that phrase on our TV. It's always, there's a tornado brewing in like West Tennessee, and then us Middle Tennesseans are like, but how West? It's like, there's a tornado brewing in East Tennessee. Okay, but how East? There's a tornado brewing near Nashville. That's the middle. That is like, we don't get acknowledgement. It's just near Nashville.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I have like Tennessee's like weirdly consistent and yet also not consistent at the same time. It's so weird to travel through it. Yes, everyone. This is what I have been crying about in my soul. The cold tea.
I don't understand.
Because they don't drink it, so they don't care. and they don't know. I only care when they're all like, yeah, we're a real Southern state, and then they do that to me, and I'm like, you told me you were Southern. I thought I was safe. I went to like Florida, and this guy from Florida, he was like, oh yeah, they like, because I was complaining about the sweet tea at Steak and Shake, so I was like, oh god, they put sugar in the cold tea, I can tell. Like, they didn't even tell me they were gonna do it. They just did it. I would have said no. And he was like, oh yeah, like they can't. He's going on about how Florida is not really Southern, and about how like unless you go to the specific area that he's from. And then he was like, but this one restaurant in Orlando makes really good sweet tea, and they went there, and no, they did not. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm so confused. Because that was the first state I had ever been in that lied to me about sweet tea. And then and then like all of them are like, well, no, it's fine. They're like trying to convince me that I don't understand good sweet tea. And I'm like, I don't think you guys understand. Sweet tea is Tennessee table wine. Like, what the fuck?
You're not wrong.
So, and then they were like, no, the real sweet tea comes from Georgia. And I'm like, have you ever been to Georgia or Tennessee? Can you make this debate?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can. Which, for the record, for any Georgians come after me, I do not think Tennessee nor Georgia makes better sweet tea. I just think we make different sweet tea. Of course, I don't actually think I have any Georgian followers. Where are you, Georgia?
Where are my Georgia people?
Where's them Georgia peeps?
CB is right. I was in West PA, just outside of Pittsburgh, and wow, a bit like what Jessica was describing. I've known one person from whose mother was from Pennsylvania, and I like grew up with her, and they just didn't act like they were from Tennessee, and that's all I really knew. Oh, hold on. Hello, sister.
The song stopped.
I know, it was kind of a vibe though. Kind of a bop.
There was a jam. Now it's gone.
Well, you can put the HBO Max on his computer. I am on a live stream though, so all right. It's Monday. She just hung up on me.
It's Monday.
Like I heard her. She's like, "Hi, Dad wanted to know something," and I'm like, "They woke this bitch up to bug me. Okay, what you need?" And she's like, Dad wants to know if he can use your HBO Max at work because they took away his something. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm on live right now. She's like, oh shit, what day is it? And I'm like, it's Monday. And then she just hangs up on me. But yes, I have 2 different ringtones for my sisters. That one is, it goes, your sister's on the phone. Your sister's calling you. Your sister's on the phone waiting patiently so she can tell you something new, which is funny to me because that's my less patient sister. And then the other one is like this alert that's like, alert, you incoming call from your sister. So I like always know which of them it is.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't like, I will always answer my sister on live, and I'm not sorry about it because if she's calling me on live, one of 2 things has happened. She completely spaced and forgot, or it's a family emergency and, you know, I'll risk it. But like, that girl sounds dead. And they just like, my sister was woken up to ask me a thing for my parents. So,
how many purples does it take to make an apple?
like, my family and I, we share streaming services, and it's pretty much just whoever buys it first sends the other one the login info. The only issue that comes with is Funimation that doesn't let me make multiple files. So it's all like, I'm watching this series. I'm on this episode. Don't fuck me up.
Yeah.
But like, my mom was talking about the HBO Max, and she's like, oh, we're using your sister's? And Tabby was like, yeah. And then somebody said something about, oh, Chris was giving my mom a hard time because she watched Godzilla before we did. And he was like, you watched it before I could on my HBO. And she's like, well, I didn't know. And I'm like, Mom, don't know. I'm like, you didn't even watch it on his profile. Don't even worry about it. He's just fucking with you. And my mom was like, well, yeah, like Tabby made a profile. Tabby's like, I didn't make a profile. The profile was already there for me. And I was like, no, I made the profile. I was like, I knew I was giving her the password. I just made her a profile when I made the kids' profiles. It's fine. That's just kind of my family in a nutshell there.
Yeah.
Well, also my baby sister, she was like, I want to read Manta comics, but I don't like want to pay for it right now because of all these things. And I'm like, you want my login? Just like tell me if you read a new series, or like there's this one that she really wanted to read, and I'm like, I'm caught up on it. Just tell me if you read it before I do. And she's like, okay. So although that one, it only updates 3 times a month on the 10th, the 20th, and the 30th. And on the 20th, it was just a lore update after a super cliffhanger.
Oh.
And I was like, I feel it's my sisterly duty to warn you that it's just a lore update. And she was like, what?
How dare.
She's like, I'm glad you told me. I would have been so pissed. And I'm like, I know. So sharing is caring.
You're not wrong.
There's so much commentary about Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
now.
like we brought up
Thing
Pennsylvania.
I
And it's
know
like,
about
boom.
Pennsylvania is they have a super haunty penitentiary. Oh, they do. They also have the Hershey's Chocolate Factory, don't they?
They do.
They
Hershey,
do.
Pennsylvania.
I know things. Chat knows more about Pennsylvania than I do, but I know where the chocolate is.
I've heard conflicting things whether Ohio or Pennsylvania is like the most haunted state, but I know they're both like up there
Very
for being
cool.
hella haunted.
Somebody's trying to take that away from Louisiana.
Louisiana hella haunted too. But yeah,
They have an
apparently
entire quarter dedicated to their hauntings.
Ohio, I think, just tries to be involved in everything. Because like we're in that middle area, so we're like, we're the North, we're the East, we're the Midwest, we're the South. So we're like, oh, we're also the most haunted. It's like, okay, fine. If you want to be the most haunted, go for it. You're not, though.
We can get an accolade. That's us.
Yeah, no, Ohio is just so needy and wants so much attention all the time.
So
Ohio is Regina from Mean Girls' mom.
I've not seen Mean Girls, but I believe it.
So New Jersey, I've been to, and apparently there is a huge difference between northern New Jersey and southern New Jersey, and they do not appreciate being confused for each other. I used to voice act with this kid from northern New Jersey, and he was talking about how first of all, a mild complaint, I was too southern to get a part in a thing he was directing, and I'm like, what do you? He was like, your southern accent is too real, and I'm like, I don't even know how to process this right now. I can do different ones. I can do. You want Georgia? I can give you Georgia. I can give you Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Like what you need. They're like, no. But anyway, so he's like, we're talking about accents, and he's like, yeah, like the New Jersey accent that everybody like, the stereotypical one. He's like, that one doesn't exist. And I was like, but I've been to New Jersey because I have a friend who lives there, and like he doesn't have the accent, but his like childhood friend, she hella had, like, her whole family had the accent because I loved listening to them talk because of it. Like, so I know I did not mishear. And he's like, well, where were you? I was like, Newark. And he's like, oh, well, that's southern New Jersey. And I'm like, sir,
Your state's this big.
I don't care if your state has a rivalry with itself. You can't pretend the other half doesn't exist because of it.
It's not like North Dakota, South Dakota. It's not two different ones. It's the same one.
And even then, I'm sure North Dakota doesn't go, the Southern Dakota accent, that's not a thing. Nobody sounds like
South Dakota just isn't real. It's just, that's Minnesota over there.
Nobody talks about it. I was born in Tennessee, but I grew up in Syracuse, New York. That is the potential for an accent that I would die to hear. I need to hear you one day, Sailor Twilight. I hope that wasn't super creepy. I just really love the
I need to hear you.
And the Tennessee
Speak
accent.
to me.
Hoagies! Oh, I love hoagies. My mom watches a lot of those ghost hunting shows, and they always go there. Ohio or the
I
penitentiary?
think the
Penitentiary.
yeah.
They go to the one in Ohio all the time too.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
My brain just went, if they went to Louisiana, they'd just die, so I think ghostesses would get them. Oh, my class went to the penitentiary for a field trip. It was cool, but they didn't let us explore the super scary parts because we were in 6th grade. We don't have haunted things here. We just have grave sites and memorials and stuff. Oh, we do have the Bell Witch Cave. We have the Bell Witch Cave.
The what?
No, Kentucky has the aliens. Oh, I thought you said we. Yes, we have the Bell Witch Cave from the Blair Witch Project, if I remember correctly.
Oh, lit.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that because like nobody in Tennessee cares. We're just like, it's here.
I'm like, that sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know what it is.
I'm trying to figure out where I am in chat. I'm not ignoring everybody.
I
like Ohio. Every railroad crossing is like, or every railroad tunnel is like crybaby tunnel. All of them. Like if you go in there, you can hear a baby crying. Every one of them are all haunted with dead babies. I don't understand.
Every tunnel in Ohio is apparently haunted.
All of
and
them.
Just like, y'all, it's just a hole in a hill.
Okay, we need to get to the next sprint, so I'm gonna.
What? There are more sprints?
Well, it's funny because apparently when I learned how to talk, I had a drawl, but moved when I was 2. So now I don't have it. I have a bit of a drawl sometimes. It's just certain words you learn in your formative years will always sound that way. I used to say like we parked the car at the house, and like my mom would be like, "Where do you think you're from? That you say it like that?" And I'm like, "I'm just speaking. I don't know what your problem
I don't know where I'm from. I'm here.
Salem is super haunted. That's in Massachusetts.
Yes.
That sounds
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Most states have a Salem, but
I'm pretty sure there's more in Tennessee. Could be wrong though. Apparently, as a Tennessean, we just don't care where we're haunted. We just live amicably with our supernatural beings. Okay, so what timer do we want?
Ghosts.
Also, Fox, I did set a break timer. Did I forget that it went off? Maybe.
We ignored it.
But I said it. Yes, child.
Somebody just put a drink next to his bed and asked his parent. It wasn't mine. So I was cleaning up and then I don't know whose favorite.
Oh, well, good job cleaning it up at least. I forgot to put in timers, so I was just getting like 20 minutes of ghosts.
Ooh. It's just pale ass white girls like me sitting there going, ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, why don't you go tell Daddy about it? Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello and welcome back. How did everybody do that break? Have to do the thing. I got about another page is done and highlighted things that I must go back and look at later because I'm doing my first go through. So I try to get all like the easy stuff, the typos, the minor grammar shit and stuff out the way the first time.
I only got 150 words because this scene is a struggle, but I got sweet tea, so good comes from the sprint.
I got 450 and stopped in the middle of a really good sentence. So at least I'll have something to go back to.
I was like looking at some of it and it's like this story has been a special journey for me because I originally wrote it 4 or 5 years ago for a contest. It is not at all a genre that I was familiar with or that I knew really how to do it all. But I like the story. And when I first went back to edit and revise it, I was like, I don't even know where to start improving this motherfucker. So I did what I could. And then I sent it to one of my CPs, and she ripped it to tiny shreds. But she was like, it's got a really good foundation though, and like the story idea is solid. She's like, so I'm really eager to see how you improve it. And then it went through a somewhat massive improving. Also realized that not a single person noticed it didn't have a climax, and that was really interesting to realize. Then I was like, I'll add that in there.
I guess
like,
it needs one of those.
Everyone's like, oh god, it's so much better now. And I'm like, isn't it? Right? Like, I agree. Somebody dies now. I'm much happier with it. And, so it was that I sent that same CP the newest version, which is the first time she's seen it since her original critique, and she was like, "Oh madame, I'm so nitpicky now because I can be nitpicky." And I'm like, "Oh yes, you picked all the nit. The nit has been picked, but it's fine because I like it." And I like when people rip my stuff apart because that means I can improve it, and it really gives me a good place of where to go, especially some sentences. Like I wrote "she whirled on him," and my CP's like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, it's a thing. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to explain that to someone who's not dyslexic. Whoops. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I know what I mean, but you're right. That doesn't actually English properly. So I'm enjoying that. And yeah, although there are these one parts where it's like you could expand on this a little or you could show this better, and I'm like, but do I want to?
But is it worth it?
I summarized it for a reason. I know show would be better than tell here,
but show is so much harder.
It's not harder for me. I'm just lazy.
I leave myself notes in the text, like I'll say something that they did, and I'm like, but you can expand on this later and actually, show how it happened and not tell. It gets me more words that way.
I will if I do stuff like that, I'll actually go into the review thing and I'll leave myself like little critique notes.
Yeah.
And then I go back to it because otherwise I won't remember
I'll straight up bully myself.
Something. Oh yeah.
In the comments.
Or I get preemptively defensive if I know like specific people are gonna read it, because there's like this one, and I shared it in CC and Circle Jerk, where it's an outline of an old story, and there's a bit of dialogue, and in parentheses it says, "Yes, Tabby, I hate it too. It'll be fixed." And then she read it and she was like, "Oh, I hate this dialogue." And then she saw the note and she's like, she's like, "You knew." And I'm like, "I know." So, because like when you work with somebody and like you just know sometimes you know what they're gonna say and you're like, I know, I understand, I need you to know that I already know,
but I can't fix that right now,
but I just wanted to show you this part, but just know that I know and it will be fixed. So
I love leaving myself comments just like, oh, I love the way that you just didn't describe the setting here. It really sets the scene really well. Just being like a passive aggressive bitch to my future self.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, Fox and I are passive aggressive bitches and aggressive bitches to each other when we critique things. I have like we have entire shorthands for each other now, or like we know what each other's things are.
Yeah.
So like he'll yell at me for commas. I'm like, no, leave my commas alone.
Leave my commas alone.
But also I yell at him for his commas, so it's just like payback.
Commas are just like that. Commas are the devil. They're just an evil punctuation.
There's another thing that I do that it's the way I describe people. I always describe them in a very specific aesthetic order. You will always know what their hair looks like and their
just top to bottom.
It's pretty much just top to bottom because that's important to me. It's the hair and then the eyes and then the rest of it. Then like based on the character will determine what gets described after the hair and the eyes.
I want to know if I have like a particular order or not. That's interesting.
Ask Fox to read your stuff. He'll let you know. He notices all of that. So he bees mean to me about my habits. And
yeah.
Like,
we have to describe our characters.
Yes, we do.
You can't just leave that for people to fill in on their own.
I'm so bad about describing characters because I'm so bad at like visualizing people as it is. To where then it's like when you go to describe, I'm like,
Don't act like a kicked puppy, Fox. You yell at me just as much. He's like, you sure do yell at me with a little sad face.
I miss the early 2000s when you could just have your character standing in front of a mirror and describing how they look in the first paragraph of your book.
Do it. I don't care. You can call me a cliche bitch if you want. My characters get fucking dressed. They look at themselves. I check myself out when I'm walking by.
It is a realistic
I need to know how rough I'm looking. So I'm like, fuck everybody. I don't care.
Yeah, like I mean, in the morning I'm gonna be like, all right, looking good. Let's go.
Like I have a character who she wakes up from a nightmare and then she's getting ready for work and she like checks her makeup and stuff, and I take this opportunity because she's looking at herself to describe herself, and I don't care if anybody goes, that's the most YA like thing ever. I don't care. I just don't.
Right.
It's early 2000s YA.
She doesn't do that thing though. She doesn't do that thing though where she's like, I'm not sexy, but like I've got I've got big boobs and a big butt and a waist. But I don't look at nah. She's like, you know what? I'm like 5'11" and I look good today. And I'm like, you go. But
you ever just feel like you have a stick in your eye?
I'm being yelled at that Fox is kind of benevolent. He's trying to lie to me.
Yeah.
Oh, about visualizing though, I'm actually bad. Like I can't visualize things in my head. So then like sometimes a lot of the critique notes will just be like, this could be visualized better, or like this could be described in such a way to give a better visualization. And I'm like, yes, good. I love those notes in particular because my previous critique partners and stuff, like everybody just told, like I was just good at describing things in general and like leading the scene and everything, so they didn't really have any notes like that. And I'm like, I know it could be better,
right?
Like I just don't know how because I can't visualize it in my head. So I like that I'm being able to set a stronger visualization.
Yeah, that's definitely an area I struggle with as well because like I just can't. I also like just have a hard time visualizing things. So like trying to describe what I can barely visualize anyway.
Yeah, it's just all blank up in here. It's just like people like when you envision an apple, and I'm like, I don't, but I can describe what an apple looks like.
Right.
It's called aphantasia.
Yes. I don't have an official diagnosis, but that is what I tell people it is. Things updated. People did stuff. Hello. Salem is in Mass. The drama happened in Salem Village, Mass, which is now Denver, New Hampshire. You can tell when I get to a state I'm not used to. My senior grad project was on the trials. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, I also looked up haunted places in Tennessee for 5 minutes.
Ooh, fun.
Hello, hello. Happy evening, writing.
Why?
Also,
We're
let me tell you,
electricians now.
we've got a haunted theater, and it's just like all decked out and stuff. And it's like, yeah,
Ooh.
people just like come here to watch plays, and occasionally there's a ghost. There's like 6 different ghost stories here, but I'm like, that's so fucking Tennessee.
If I was a ghost, a theater would be high on the list of places I'd want to haunt.
294. Oh, yes, sweetie.
Our town has a haunted theater. Everyone takes pictures there because it's the in thing to do.
The middle of a sentence, good place to stop. Continued with paperwork for work almost done. See, I would be afraid of when I return to that sentence that I would never be able to remember the end of it. Yeah, I'm on a roll now. Figured out how this action sequence is going. Yay!
Woo!
All I did was drive home in a traffic jam.
Ew.
But hey, that's a lot of
That's a lot of work.
kudos. Exactly. Finished work paperwork. Sweet. I had sweet tea vodka with lemonade a couple weeks ago.
This is sweet tea with peach crown in it. So it's like peach tea.
Peach tea
Mhm.
with an extra kick.
With a kick.
Fox says, "Wow, Matt, don't wow, no more points for Matt or you." But
What? Why don't I get points? Why do I lose points?
Pikachu agreed with me that he was a liar.
Yeah, well.
I have a folder on my phone that's labeled screenshots to use against Fox for our arguments. And one of them is just Fox saying I lie. And so whenever he goes on his thing where he's like, which we both do this, he's like, I am not a liar. I am a sweet angel baby who knows nothing, or who does not know of these lies and slander. And then I'll like throw that screenshot at him, and I'm like, oh really?
To the surprise of no one, I'm so happy with the organization of that, that you have a folder ready.
All the
We have a special kind of best friendship. The way we war is very specific. So don't act like you've never used a screenshot against me, sir. Like yesterday, they were talking about killing characters in CC, and like I don't remember most of the conversation because I'm egocentric, so I only remember the part that matters to me. And I was just like, I, for one, have never killed a character in my entire life because I am a saint. I put like the little halo emoji, and I sent that screenshot to Fox. And he was just like, "You dirty, filthy liar!"
Lies.
I was like, the betrayal, the hurt, the scandal. He just put a gif that was quite obviously done with my shit for the day, and I was like, fair, but also I sent the same screenshot to Tabby, who sent me back a gif of Murray going, and the lie detector detected that is a lie. And I was like, nobody wants to pretend I don't kill characters. We're gonna ignore the fact that in this very stream, I just said that I felt Not For Her was drastically improved because I've murdered somebody.
Look, sometimes death just needs to happen to make things more interesting.
All the time, every time. Quite frankly, if I'm not murdering somebody in a story, am I even being me?
If you're not sure what to do, someone should die. Life advice.
Not writing advice.
No.
Life advice.
You ever confused? I don't know. Try it.
So in other ways that I've been a bitch lately, we're watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and we're in the Dark Tournament Saga. I can't say a lot because I don't know if CB is still here, but I've been mildly torturing her with the how to say, I let her know that that not everyone on Team Urameshi survives the dark tournament, and that I'm not specifying if it's a not everyone or not everyone's. So,
A little torment. Never hurt anybody.
yes. And we just watched the episode where Genkai dies. That was the last episode we watched. The next episode is about everybody grieving Genkai. So I'm like, there's things to come.
I don't know what any of that means.
I can't just know I made CB cry. That's all that you need to know.
In conclusion, CB's crying and it's Sam's fault.
And my sister is just as bad, if not worse. Because like she's watching it with like on and off when she's feeling fine, she'll enter the call and she'll watch it with us. And like Tabby also cries easily. So, but she's like sadistic. So if she cries, she wants other people to cry too. So she's all like, instead of, being like, Sam, you shouldn't be mean, she's like, she'll get worse. And she'll be like, but CB. And CB be like, no, Tabby, shut up. And I'm like, I just sit back and enjoy the chaos that I created. Because Tabby's like, if I cried,
everyone gotta cry. Picking people up by the collar, forcing them to cry.
Your new name is apparently Trader Matt.
Oh, come on!
Fox said at least Trader Matt understands that it's my fault. Not everything is my fault, Fox. Just
Trader Matt,
90%
come
of
on.
things.
I didn't do anything that bad.
If you take my side against him in anything, you're a traitor. Just
That's brutal.
He's an Aries. So they are. As much as he denies he's anything like an Aries, he's very much like an Aries. It's weird because he will never relate to any Aries memes at all. It just doesn't connect with him, but he acts very much like one to me. So, what kind of timer do we want for our last sprint? Because our break timer went off.
I picked the last one, so I will defer.
To Jesus?
I mean, if he wants to pick a timer.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Did one of these?
Yeah. I was gesturing to both of you, but if Jesus want to pick a timer, he can pick a timer.
You're calling me your Lord and Savior? Would not be the first time.
I mean, you are immortal, to be fair.
I am.
I honestly don't care. I have no preference.
I need you to look at the gifts that Fox has shared.
All right. I swear, if this is shading me.
My mother had
Come on!
My mother had 2 other children, and they're both Aries, and ever since then, I've just started collecting them. I have my other guy best friend is a Taurus is a Taurus with a lot of Aries leanings, so that's also fun. I always forget he's a Taurus because of that. But then he's like, "No, Sam, that's not when my birthday is," and I'm like, "Damn it, I'll never remember."
Audra says Stig isn't here to say the rainbow.
Audra gets me.
Stig has because of this, he's just given up on the rainbow, and he just always asks for a different timer now.
Oh well, now it's no fun. It's no fun if he accepts defeat. I need him to have a little hope.
That's very Capricorn of him, though. So Emily Fox agrees with you. He says it is truth that I collect Aries. I can't help it. I have a lot of fun with Aries. They are some of the only people who I can say, "Look here, you bitch," and they just go, "What, bitch?" And it's great. We can have a whole ass fight for an hour, and it's not a real fight, and we're good. And I'm a very combative person, so it's fun for me. Yeah, I'm not using COVID bombs. That doesn't sound pleasant. I was about to start the timer without sharing the screen.
It's rude.
Everybody else gets to
Y'all guess
wonder.
when it's 20 minutes.
All right, this will be the final one of the night because I have kid bedtime again. Final Sprint's gonna hide Matt today.
There we go.
And 3, 2, 1, go. And we're back. Hello. Are y'all alive?
We back. Trying to
Hey,
think of
alive.
what words I got.
In a really creepy turn of events, I got 407, which is what I got the first time.
Dun dun dun.
I got 201.
Nice. I got. How much did I get? I got. Looks like 3/4 of a page done. There's. So I use ellipsis a bit in narrative, and I've been informed that ellipsis is like more for dialogue. So in narrative, it's better to use M dashes, and I'm an M dash whore. So I'm like, really?
All my M dashes.
Yes. So it's just like I'm so gleefully replacing ellipses with M dashes, and I'm like, yes.
Living the dream.
We love a good M dash.
I just remembered something very random in one of the comics I'm reading. So, like Earth gets turned into this apocalyptic kind of gaming thing.
Mhm.
And the first round, like everybody has to kill a living organism to survive the first round. And this one like teenager is all like, yeah, so let's just start killing the weak and shit. And it like the main character can kind of see their stats and attributes, and it's like goes down this long list of them, and then the bottom is edgelord, and I'm like, I feel
How
so
dare.
attacked. Excuse you. And then it was like and then as they're giving some like background, it's like most of the edgelords just like couldn't handle the new world order and just kind of gave in. But not this edgelord. This edgelord's actually super powerful and like went on to do like really cool things. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm like, I see where you're coming from, kind of, but also,
how dare you come at the edgelord?
How dare you? I was just so taken aback by the fact that they just used the word edgelord.
Yeah, like actually use the term.
Mechanically, it's just like edgelord. It's just what he is. And there's these like constellations, which are kind of like god things that can sponsor the peoples. And there's this one, the main character is all like, yeah, that one leans or favors edgelord types, and I'm like, I'm feeling so attacked right now. What do you mean I get my own class? All right, so I'm gonna address chat and then Gats to go because Gats to put the kids to bed. Ooh, Candy got Subway. Nice. 481, sweet. I cleaned out my Amazon wish list and bought reusable masks finally. We haven't needed them until now. Yes, though. Also, I'm sorry for your shipping. That's when the pandemic first hit, it was like, spring, summer in Tennessee. And I told Chris, I was like, we're ordering Korean masks. And he was like, why? And I'm like, because they've got the spring ones. And he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, they do the skincare and the hide from the sun. So they've got these like nice ones that aren't going to kill us. And I do, like everywhere I went in the summer, people were like, where did you get that one? And I'm like, Korea. Like my cultural knowledge paid off. Yeah, they're like nice and double layered too, but they're just so like cool in the summer. Making a bonnet from scratch, almost finished for the night. Next step involves glue, so that's fair though. Almost to 16K, woohoo! Also, Sophie and I, M-whores. 25K, yeah. Side note, everyone's hair looks extra cute. Oh, I thank you. I will probably never sport this hairstyle again. So, take it in. My poor husband, he likes the double buns and the pigtails and stuff, and I'm just like, no. just one and done. I'll do it on the side. But all right, so look, I can't help it that the keyboard doesn't actually have an M dash button, so I just use 2 dashes to signify an M dash, and then I go back and I copy paste real M dashes over my dashes. Fox is calling me out because
That sounds very tedious.
things. Well, what I do is I do those, like I just typed them in the chat. So because my keyboard does not have a real M dash button. So I just use these.
For so long, I would just use 1 dash and be like, yeah, that's an M dash. And then I learned that it was a different character, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, I should probably put those in.
I go back and I replace my double dashes with M dashes, sir. Oh, but you don't call me out on anything, Fox.
Can I help you, sir?
Ow!
I'm going to take Oxicide in this one so that I don't get gifts thrown at me.
No, my husband threw a ball at me. What the fuck? What did you need? Okay, well, give me a second. I'm ending the stream.
They want to go to bed, Mom.
Toss a ball at me. Okay, I'm glad it reminds you of Sailor Moon because I'm taking pictures for the Sailor Moon stream. That is the only reason I have this hair right now. All right, so y'all do your outros.
Hi, I'm me. I'm Jessica. I have a channel on YouTube. It's my name. It's right there.
Down there.
And it's also linked down below. And I post reading, writing, and book-related content twice a week, sometimes. And that's me.
And I am Matt Hollon, writer, working on my debut fantasy novel. Also got a pirate short that I'm working on, The White Harvester, going to be in the beta phase soon. I'm also an ally of Fox. Thank you very much. And I've got
gifts.
And I've got a Twitter. I've got an Instagram. They're down there. Check them out. And that's me.
And I am Writing Mom Samantha Nasset. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. And I host live streams like these on Mondays, where sometimes, child, you're going to have to wait. Where sometimes we do writing sprints, and other times we talk about topics and other things. I am about to wait until I'm done. I will go back to making videos on Wednesdays, hopefully this month, hoping to record this week. Keep our hands crossed. You can follow and stay up to date with all things Sam on my website, SamanthaEllenAsset.com. When you sign up for my newsletter, I've been completely thrown off. I have a Ko-fi, which is also down below. I have an example of my writing, which I have not been advertising lately. It is a really good short story called Until Pizza Do Us Part. It's on my website. I will have Not For Her up for us at some point in my lifetime. And I think that's everything.
Give Sam money.
Yes, thank you.
On her Ko-fi.
Yeah, Ko-fi.
The only way I hear it now.
And thank you all for joining us. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time.
Like the stream.
Yes, like the
stream. Do that.
Subscribe
to
the
one
channel.
Of those. Sub. Do that. I command it.
Bye.